so far what we've gotten back is a lot of the results were inconclusive.
Oh, for God's sakes, please somebody tell me not to go check out Drew's stupid TikTok.
Hello everyone, how are we doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm well aware, family of 7, whatever, living in one bedroom. I do cover them quite a lot. Expect to have 1 or 2 more episodes kind of following each other because big things are going to be happening or have actually kind of just happened this weekend. But then also our Lisa, who is Drew's son, who he doesn't pay any child support's mum. Yeah, Drew's going back to court where he's going to be held in contempt. If he doesn't cough up some money, he is going to be sitting in jail. Like I say, they want a tiny home. In today's video, I've got so much stuff to talk to you guys about, so I'm just going to drone off with everything I've got. First off, we have Stephanie's mum, who has come on, and she was on a live with this creator right here. She is giving off some information that we did not know about, the reasoning why they're not speaking.
This trauma she's had and all this abuse from her childhood, almost as if she has to use that to justify the fact that she doesn't want me in her life, but it's because the person she's with doesn't want me in her life.
Also, the bankruptcy that Stephanie blames on her mum, yeah, that was actually to do with the fact that her mum and then her mum's ex-husband grouped together a load of money in order to fight Jeremiah, who is in prison, who is technically still married to Stephanie. Him and his family were threatening to take Stephanie's kids away. So obviously Stephanie's mum was like, no. And because Stephanie cannot manage her finances, she ended up going into bankruptcy. Lawyers are now after Stephanie. And her mum has basically been directing them. We're also going to get onto the fact that another one of their cats has been found. I still cannot pronounce the name of this cat originally, but that is not the name of the cat now. It's the same woman who rescued Milo.
Trying to build a case, so I was asking about his tail, about Onyx's tail, because Onyx is missing a piece of his tail and it's curved. It almost looks like it got slammed in a door, caught in something. I was reading or something that he lost his tail back in February. So I said, hey, there's rumors that Milo's missing fur because she poured boiling water on him. I said, I just want to know that like those rumors true because I'm trying to, they're trying to make a case on him. And they said, from what I know is that another neighbor that I spoke to, saw her pour boiling water towards them, like throw it towards the cats so they wouldn't want to come back inside.
Also find out the infamous reasoning as to why Drew can't work, his health scare. He has also started up a TikTok channel. Now, I don't know if you guys have caught this or not, but he started one and for some bizarre reason he has like over 3,000 followers. Which one of you lot is subscribed to Drew, right? Who are you? Show yourself, because this is absolutely ridiculous. You also have the fact that Andrew has been driving around with a suspended license, which people on Reddit had already caught onto this like a couple of months ago. I'll put the thing up here. This was mentioned ages ago, the fact that he has a suspended license. Like, it shows he has a suspended license.
Buddy, Drew just took the kids to school. We didn't film any kind of like get ready with us or morning routine with the kids. It's just really not the best angles in this motel room.
Yeah, Stephanie is showcasing him driving the kids to school. They've now got a new car and I don't think it's big enough for the amount of kids that they have, so they must be leaving some kids behind whilst they're doing this and that. Honestly, the whole thing is screaming the Suffering Olympics.
And then we need to go try to get some more craft stuff or just some things for the kids to do here. Keep their time busy. So they'll keep freezing in this bathroom every morning.
So starting off strong, I'm sure many of you are wanting to know why Andrew can't work, and Stephanie did in fact disclose this in a subscriber only live that was caught, captured, recorded and then shown to us mere mortals who will not pay Stephanie and Andrew to be their loyal subscribers.
Seen a lot of comments on at least the TikTok side of subscription. People saying like, I subscribed because I wanted to see the updates on Drew's health and all that. And if it comes from a concerning point of view, or if you're just like being supportive and you're concerned, we appreciate that. But if you're just like fishing, it's a little bit weird. Say is, so far what we've gotten back is a lot of the results were inconclusive. He needs to go to a couple different specialists. And all we know so far is that he's pre-diabetic and he has a heart condition that he needs more testing for.
So there we have it. He is pre-diabetic, and I believe he had some sort of a health scare, heart scare, whatever the case may be. It's really ironic because on TikTok, I actually came across this video. Stephanie actually mentioning that Andrew was having a health scare. This is a little while ago. Obviously, this video was then edited and there's captions put into it.
My husband said something that abruptly put a stop to my own thoughts and immediately humbled me. He spoke of the strain in his body and his mind, the absolute agony his soul has been fighting for some sense of relief from the constant battles of poverty. Worrying, will I be able to keep the lights on? These 2 kids need new shoes. They all need new clothes. Will I ever get to take my family around to see the world? To experience the homesteading life that we both dream of? Or is that too far from reality for us? Will we ever get out of this 1-bedroom apartment? What would I even leave for you all if my body decides to give out from all this stress?
But yeah, she's been banging on about this for a little while. What I am going to say to this, right, is that if you're pre-diabetic, what are you doing just sitting around all day playing on your 9 to PS5 job? And number 2, have you seen the some of the food that they get? I'm not saying that she doesn't cook home cooked meals, even though it is next to the toothbrushes. That's not what I'm getting at. She does, and sometimes he does, although she does majority. But if you're saying that you're pre-diabetic and that's the reason why you can't work, but you don't want to move your body and you also eat a load of like processed crap, which is really high in sugar, etc., 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 don't be coming on right here and right now going like, oh, I'm so worried, but he's pre-diabetic. Da, da, da. There's people who are full-blown diabetics, type 1 diabetics, who have had to deal with it since basically birth. And there's type 2 diabetics who still have to get up and work. Do you know what I mean? To be completely honest, she's saying that they're inconclusive. I just think he's got a little taste of lasyitis. People are also saying like, oh, they have name brand stuff. They have name brand stuff. Now, I'm obviously not American, but I believe there's such thing called a EC whatever card or an ET card, whatever it is. It's a little card that gets topped up by the government. This is from my own knowledge, understanding. A card that gets topped up if you need food assistance. So at the beginning of every single month they'll be given loads, and I was reading on Reddit, people have managed to capture roughly how much you'd earn if you were like a family of 7 in your little card, and I believe it was like 1,500 or something like that. So they go out and they're there splurging on these name brand things. Just remember, they're not actually paying for that. If you're wanting to like stretch your grocery budget, maybe go for not name brand things and things that are highly processed in sugar to make sure that you do not become diabetic. But that is just my own unsolicited opinion.
Talking for about 30-45 minutes yesterday. I agreed to take Onyx to reunite him with Milo. I do plan on keeping Onyx. He is going to be staying in quarantine to check his overall health.
Cat, who I can't pronounce the original name of it anyway, is now named Teddy, and Teddy was rescued by a neighbor. But then the lady who's rescued Milo got into contact and created this little detox area in her bathroom where Milo was being, basically to stop contamination going on in the rest of the house and the rest of the animals.
But he is safe now, everybody. Now, these owners did express to me, they have Jasper and they have, and another neighbor has Conscious. The Conscious is the black cat. They are wishing people do not come to the home. Please do not go back to the apartments and do not take these cats. These cats are loved. These cats are safe.
Neighbors did in fact clarify that they saw heard from other neighbors. It's basically neighborhood talk that yes, they were throwing boiling water on the cats to deter them from getting back into the house.
Saw her pour boiling water towards them, like throw it towards the cats so they wouldn't want to come back inside. So I don't think she physically poured the water on the cats. He said the neighbor didn't ever see him physically pour water on the cats, but the rumors are true that there was boiling water thrown towards the cats, so they did not want to come back to the house.
So that has now been confirmed. A lot of people were saying, is that a rumor? The woman who's been rescuing all these cats, God bless her soul, she spoke to the neighbors. They said, yes, that is in fact true.
I mean, and I'm sitting here thinking at this point, maybe I need to file bankruptcy because now the lawyers are coming after me. Send me the email, and I had sent it to her.
But that's why she's blaming you for having to file bankruptcy, essentially.
Yeah.
We're going to get on to what Stephanie's mum had to say. Now, Stephanie's mum goes under the name Mary something up here. Honestly, I swear to God, I don't even know why you guys watch me, because half the time I'm like going off of distant memory and my memory is shocking. Mary up here, okay, she came on and she did a live with this creator right here. I got this from YouTube because someone had screen recorded it, so that's the only bit I can go off, because the time zone difference between Portland and here is like 7.5 hours, I'm pretty sure. So ain't no way I'm gonna be up I don't even know what time that was. That would have been like 2 o'clock in the morning. That was not ever going to be me. She talks about a couple things. First off, she talks about Stephanie and how she gets into relationships with these men who basically try and alienate her away from the rest of the family.
It is not her. Who she is right now is not her. And it's when she gets in this, she loses herself in these relationships because she's with men who are controlling, dominating, abusive, and that's what they do, is they cut their family out of their lives because they want to make her world so small, and they want to make sure that she doesn't have someone she can run to for help.
Starts talking about Jeremiah, and Jeremiah Thompson, I think that's his name, he is the man who's technically still married to Stephanie, who went into prison for his own mother, and by that I mean like raping, and then also a young child, and then also a 14 or 16-year-old girl. So all in all, pretty bad. When Stephanie's mum found out about this, she went to him and she said, like, tell me about these charges, tell me about this, because this is pretty sinister. Instead of him owning up to it, he blamed the victims.
Tried to get Jeremiah a job at because I was on the Chamber of Commerce, and I tried to get him a job. The person who was doing his background called me because I was, like I said, on the Chamber of Commerce, and they answered to us, and she called me and she's like, Reese, have you seen this guy's background? So I was like, no, let me go see it. So I went over there, got this paperwork, and it was even worse than they had ever told us. And I asked him point blank, I said, these are things I just never really knew about you. Can you tell me about this? And every single thing on that list, he made an excuse for. And I looked at him and I said, look, here's what I want to tell you. If you had come to me and said, I did those things, but I'm a changed person. I love your daughter. I want to be better for her. I want to do right. I would have been your number one cheerleader. I would have been in your corner, and I would have helped you to make these better choices. But the fact that you're sitting here making excuses and telling me that this happened to you and that you didn't make these choices, I want you to know from now on, I will be the person you have to worry about coming between you and Stephanie.
Just let that sink in. And from that moment, she went like, this man is Looney Tunes. This man is dangerous. This man is like, what the hell? Him and Stephanie were actually living in her house at the time. And by the time her mum got back home from work, they'd already got a U-Haul, and they U-Hauled their way out of there.
We couldn't leave her alone with her kids. Between her 3 brothers and myself, one of us always had to be home to be with her and the kids. And he was really threatening to come and take the kids from her because she wasn't stable.
Her and Jeremiah then end up breaking up, and she moves back in with Mary, Stephanie's mum. Now, during this time period when she's coming back, Mary says that she was basically suicidal, and that her or one of her siblings had to be there with her constantly. There always had to be someone at the house watching her. Stephanie and her sister didn't get along very well, so Stephanie's sister then, yeeted off, and Stephanie remained in the house. So the kids had their room, Stephanie had her own room, and the mum had their own room, which sounds like heaven right now when you think about where they're living. In this time period, Mary says that she was basically like, she had to get divorce lawyers. They had to. Stephanie wasn't acting on it. And she was like, we need to do this. So she actually went to her ex-husband, who's not Stephanie's dad, went to her ex-husband, who's quite well off, and said, can you please help me? I need money for divorce lawyers. So they put all this money down. He says that the reasoning why she had to act as quickly as she did was because Jeremiah and his family are very well off, were threatening to take away the kids.
Would you be willing to pay my child support ahead so that I can use that money for Stephanie's divorce? And he was like, it'll take me a while, but I'll get the money together and I'll do it. So that was roughly $12,000. So I took the money, I hired her a lawyer. Now, the reason it was so expensive is because she was in California, but she lived in Washington, and the divorce had to take place in Washington. I found her one. I reached out to a friend that I knew would know, like, the best one in the area. And we found one, and they needed a $10,000 retainer. She never got divorced. But anyhow, the $10,000 got whittled away because Jeremiah was going in every single day to our lawyer, racking up fees by asking questions. At this point, I still had the $2,000. I gave him that. And then I borrowed another $3,000, and we were up to $15,000 in retainer fees. And he said, okay, now we can start, we'll use this, and now we can start giving you credit that you don't have to pay back right away. It'll just build up a balance. So pretty soon it was negative, and now it's $16,000 that we owe, that I co-signed for, that I get the email every month. I get the new balance. She decided to file bankruptcy because she owed her credit card. She owed on the Prius that had gotten repoed. She owed a lot of money, and she wanted to just get rid of it. So she filed bankruptcy. Well, the bankruptcy didn't go through correctly, and it never attached itself to the lawyer fees.
And instead of any money being paid back, I'm assuming like from Stephanie for like legal fees and all of that, what ended up happening was that Stephanie ended up filing for bankruptcy, and now the lawyers are still on her tail. So that's another thing. And that's the reasoning why Stephanie blames her mum, going, well, you decided to do this on my behalf, and now, you know, I'm bankrupt and I can't pay them back. But the reasoning why she did that was because of, you know, keeping her kids together, because Stephanie wasn't acting on it. Stephanie's mum says the exact same thing about Drew, and the fact that Andrew actually lied to her when they first got together and said, yeah, no, I spoke to the landlord and they're sorting us out a 2-bedroom, but you can move in here in the meantime and then it will quickly be ready. And Stephanie's mum then found out that actually he never spoke to the landlord ever. So that was a complete lie, and it was basically just used to get Andrew to get Stephanie and get the kids all together. Basically, they're all as bad as each other. I
was still providing full-time care for all 3 girls. I was just going to Megan's apartment to watch her child and then come back to watch Stephanie's, because Stephanie worked the night shift. That's when she met Drew. Now, Stephanie was paying a third of the rent, and a third of my income was coming from Stephanie so that I could pay the rest of the rent. So when she left me to go live with Drew, not only did she take a third of my income, but she took a third of the rent. When they had first met, Drew had said, we won't do that to your mom. Well, you can stay living with your mom until the end of your lease, and by then I'll have the money for a 2-bedroom apartment.
Right.
Which I thought, oh, that's great. How awesome that he sees that, he understands that, they're going to be together, but they're going to do this. Next thing I know, and it happened literally overnight, where she comes home and she says, Drew and I decided that we want to be together right now. And she told me, she goes, I know that you need the money to get paid, so I think you should just keep, and the state is who was paying me for childcare.
Right.
Get ERDC. And she told me that she would keep signing the ERDC billing forms, even though I wasn't watching her girls. And I was like, do you know how much trouble we could both get into for that?
Now, what I will say is that a lot of people on the internet, even in that live, you know, looking back and you see the comments, they had to turn off the comments because a lot of people were like, well, why are you saying anything? You're just as bad as her. Like, da 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 da. Honestly, we're never going to truly know exactly what went on, because, of course, you have Mary, Stephanie, and then the truth is somewhere, you know, in the middle. It could be more favorably towards Mary, but, you know, we're never going to know. We were not there. But because Stephanie's coming on and she's saying X, Y, and Z about her mum and making it out like her mum bankrupted her, and that her mum was a toxic, horrible person, which she's gone on record saying, it is only fair if her mum can come out and clear some things up, because I mean it must be horrible seeing your grandkids living in that situation.
Drew does that. He's been incredibly supportive. I'm telling you, ever since we left the apartment, I guess it's been 17 days now, he's barely even been on that game. Been on dad mode constantly.
And don't even get me started on one of their latest posts where Stephanie, obviously because people are saying, you know, you guys need to sort your lives out, even if that involves the kids not living with you, which is a whole entire different topic of conversation, because we all know how horrible, toxic and placement homes can be. This is literally from people that have experienced it. Stephanie decides to upload this TikTok, but it's still up right here, but basically the caption something like what we all say to the internet trolls wanting to separate us or something, and I'm literally just like, what the hell? And she's clarifying up here. She's clarifying that, yeah, her kids are well aware, which is just an absolutely disgusting thing to do. Like, those kids are going to have so much trauma anyway, regardless, when they grow up, is what I said in my last video. It's disgusting that people are then putting this on the internet and showing their kids in this light just to make money off of it. And not to mention as well is that they also shaved the eldest boy's head, who is Drew's son, shaved his head, and then they then claim, well, he wants to look just like his dad, and I'm just not buying it. I just think that they couldn't be bothered to go and take the child to a proper hairdresser, or they couldn't afford to do it, or heaven forbid they have like a lice or flea problem. The woman who rescued Milo, when Milo came to her, like, this cat had a flea infestation that would have meant that the actual place in which they live would have flea infestations. And if you know anything about fleas, they can live on clothing, they can live in bedding, they can live anywhere really with dust. So, there's a real strong possibility that they have just taken the fleas with them. It's just horrendous. Fleas can literally live in dust. I'm just saying, it's sad all around. And what's going to make it even worse is that on the 7th, Arlisa, Drew's, ex, who they have a kid together and he doesn't want anything to do with, she's taking him to court. So we're going to see exactly what happens with that. But unless they can cough up the money, what are they doing? What are they doing? Because I just don't think they're going to have that money. I really honestly don't. I just don't think they have that money. I really don't. Can't prove it, but I do not think they have that money. And is then going to mean that Stephanie is on her own in a hotel motel with these children without him? Could she just end up going back to her mum's if that is the case? Who knows? We're just going to have to wait and see. But that is the Resilient Jenkins update that I've been meaning to get back to you guys. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens on the 7th. In between then, I'm going to put out different content. Don't you worry, for people that are sick and tired of this conversation. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.